physically present as the convoy moved toward the planned meeting. But the procession was stopped by heavy police deployment. Security officers used tear gas and warning shots in the air to break up crowds and prevent them from regrouping or advancing towards the venue. The confrontation escalated along the highway as supporters were repeatedly dispersed, and the convoy was ultimately blocked from entering the central business district.
Polisi wametuvamia na risasi, wakatumwavia na tear gas. Lakini kwa sababu mimi ni mtoto ya Maumau, nimesema lazima niingie Kikuyu. Alichoma, alisema Leticia hatafika Kikuyu. Leticia amefika hajafika. Leticia amefika hajafika. Hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni wapi? Tabia zako kibadili chomwa. Hatuamini wewe ni Mkikuyu. Hatuamini wewe ni Mkikuyu. Umeshikana na William Ruto kuangaisha jamii ya Wakikuyu. Nimetangaza Operation Fagia ya kufagia wasaliti wa jamii yetu. Nikisema Harambee mnasema Fagia. Harambee! Wasaliti wote.
Mimi mwenyewe nimechaguliwa hapa Kikuyu. Kwa hivyo wewe Nshomwa unakataza mpaka waliochaguliwa hapa Kikuyu wafike. Ndio maana tunakuambia.
Now, Vihiga Senator Godfrey Ototi has alleged that the principal security for internal security, Raymond Omolo, was involved in an attack that occurred earlier this week in Kisumu County. Ototi claimed that the incident, which left him in a bad condition, was not a random act but a coordinated operation targeting him. He has suggested that individuals linked to senior security leadership may have played a role in the event surrounding the attack. The senator has called for an independent investigation into the matter, saying that political violence should not be tolerated and that those responsible must be held accountable regardless of their position.
Security had the commotion, so he quickly came, and one of the guys, the one who was hitting me with a kick, was actually trying to remove a gun to shoot me. Raymond Omolo is responsible for my attack. He is responsible for my attack, and I have evidence about that. He has been trailing me. They have put police to trail me and to trail Linda Mwananchi team.
We are saying without any fear that Raymond Omolo must be arrested. If he is not arrested in the next 2 weeks, we are going to take certain actions that will have to force the hand of government to be able to put a stop to this nonsense.
Boy Akoth, it is known everywhere in the whole of Nyanza region. Yeah. In Kisumu, Boy Akoth is Raymond Omolo's right-hand man. You've seen them in photos. You've seen even those goons who attacked Mheshimiwa Sotsi in photos. With him, Boy Akoth is the one who receives money from Raymond Omolo.
Now, a funeral in Ikolomani, Kakamega County was disrupted after violent clashes broke out between two groups of suspected hooligans. One person was injured after being stabbed during the confrontation. The incident reportedly began after the women representative for Kakamega County, Elsie Muhanda, was denied to use the use of microphone during the ceremony. Tension escalated when supporters linked to Governor Fernandez Barasa and those allied to the women representative clashed at the funeral site. The situation turned chaotic, forcing the body of the deceased to be removed from the scene abruptly as the disturbance continued.
Jumamosi nikiongea wenye mlikuwa hapa, nilitaja mtu ameua mtu kweli? Nilitaja kweli? Sasa tutakutana koti? We shall meet in court.
Kusema mambo ya bunzi. Na umefika hapa na bunzi ya tano. Kama umebeba rungu. Hiyo ni bunzi ambayo umeletea nani hapa? Mimi nataka kuambia mama Elsie ya kwamba hauwezi kunitisha hapa Ikolomani.
And there are growing concerns over teachers shortage in rural schools in Trans Nzoia County. Speaker Moses Wetangula has urged the Ministry of Education to address staffing gaps, saying some schools are still short of many teachers despite government recruitment efforts. He called for fair redistribution of teachers and warned against preference for urban postings, which may worsen the imbalance. Leaders also called for unity among political leaders and discourage divisive politics.
Walimu 1,100 mwezi wa 6, 7 tunaandika wengine 24,000. Ukiangalia ratio ya walimu na shule za Kenya zote, we should not have any situation where a school like this has a shortage of 28 teachers. Lazima wa rationalize walimu. Wasirundike walimu katika shule zenye ziko mijini na kusahau shule zenye ziko katika mashinani. Kwa sababu mwalimu akiandikwa anasema niko tayari kufanya kazi popote pale. Akipelekwa hapa anasema nirudishe town. Nipeleke kule, maisha ni tamu. Hao wananchi ndio wanalipa ushuru, inalipa mishahara yenu. Na mama mwalimu, nimekwambia nikirudi Nairobi na kuenda kuona rais, nikusaidie tukuandikie walimu 10 hapa.
And moving on, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen has called on young people across the country to turn up in large numbers and register as voters during the ongoing mass voter registration exercise ahead of the 2027 general elections. Speaking in Kisongon Primary School during the launch of the Chera Unity Cup, he emphasized that the youth make up a significant portion of the population and play a crucial role in determining the country's future. He stressed the need for young people to take responsibility by ensuring they are registered early so they can fully participate in the democratic process. He added that increased youth turnout will enhance representation and ensure their voices are reflected in the nation's decision.
Leo kwa award zote ya hapa Cherangani leo na kesho, IBC officials wako hapa wanaregister wale wanataka kujisajili ama hawajawahi kujisajili kwa wapiga kura. Vijana wengi sana wako na IDs na hawajajisajili. Ya pili, tuko na mpango ya kupeana IDs kwa wale wote hawana ID.
Muona kila mtu anasema tuko kadi. Tuko kadi ni kumaanisha uko na kura, umekata kura. Ikifika wakati wa kuchagua viongozi, utakuwa mmoja ambaye utachagua kiongozi bora.
Kura ni ya muhimu. That is the best way to make your decision and pick your right leader, especially for the young ones who've been misused in terms of violence. Tujipange na kura yetu, because that is what will enable us also choose the right leaders, and once you choose the right leaders, you
And the government spokesperson Isaac Mwaura has called on Kenyans to uphold respect for the institution of the presidency following an incident witnessed during a funeral in Olkalau. He described the conduct displayed during the event as unacceptable, noting that some leaders have failed to maintain the level of decorum expected in such solemn occasions. He specifically criticized what he termed disrespectful behavior by a section of young members of parliament. Mwaura emphasized that funerals should remain respectful spaces dedicated to mourning and supporting bereaved families rather than being turned into political arenas or moments of confrontation. He further stressed that the office of the president must always be accorded respect regardless of political differences, urging leaders to exercise dignity during public gatherings.
Even if you don't like the person of the president, but you have to respect the institution of the president. What we saw with some leaders there, some of them were fairly young and even serving their first time in parliament, was really disrespectful. And even if you have political differences, there is some decorum that is required going forward. In any case, when we go for a funeral, the idea is about the family. It's not about we politicians or leaders wanting to settle political scores when others are mourning. So that's a very shameful act. And the president needs to be respected as an institution. Ni aibu sana kwa viongozi kutumia mazishi ili kuweza kujitafutia umaarufu kisiasa.
Now, the Law Society of Kenya Southeastern Branch has warned to boycott court proceedings if the Judicial Service Commission does not address concerns about the transfer of a judge to the Machakos High Court. During their annual general meeting, members anonymously rejected the posting of Lady Justice Josephine Mungare, citing concerns about integrity. The lawyers urge that the position of a judge requires questionable character and trust. They warn that any doubts about a judge's integrity could damage public confidence in the justice system.
Justice Mungare became the subject of media coverage. The Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission was investigating alleged corruption involving the judge. Indeed, there is a pending petition, being Milimani High Court Petition number 189 of 2026, in which the judge seeks to stall the investigations by the EACC. While all these circus was happening, the judge was transferred to Machakos High Court. We are of the common position, as the members of the Law Society Southeastern Branch, that the said judge should be on leave pending investigation. She cannot serve our branch. Once she clears her name and the confidence is restored, she can continue serving members of the public. We call upon the Judicial Service Commission to take our concerns seriously and withhold the posting of the judge to Machakos. Our members are directed to boycott should the JSC.
And the Kenya Tea Development Agency has officially begun construction of a new small hydropower project in Nandi County. The project will cost 1.7 billion shillings and is expected to produce 2.8 megawatts of clean, renewable energy. Once completed, the hydropower plant will supply electricity directly to tea factories in the region. This will help reduce the cost of production for thousands of farmers in Nandi, Vihiga, and Trans Nzoia counties. The project will serve 12 zones, which includes Chibot, Nandi, Kapsera, Trans Nzoia, and Mdete factories in Vihiga. By generating its own power, the project will protect tea factories from high electricity costs and frequent power interruptions from national grid.
Ya kwamba baada ya mradi huu kumalizika, mkulima atakuwa amepunguziwa gharama ya stima na hizo pesa zitaenda kwa mfuko ya mkulima, na hii ni njia nzuri. Hata wale wakaaji wa eneo hii wataweza kuunganishwa stima kutoka kwa mto huu.
Aiming to reduce the energy cost, especially the electricity, because once farmers do these projects and they are connected to their factories, the cost that they will pay per unit is about 50% of what they are paying for KPLC. So it's a game changer when it comes to reduction of cost on the energy.
Kuna furaha pia kwa sababu kule bungeni hiyo tea reforms ilishaasentiwa, imeshagazetiwa. Ingine inakuja moja tu, hiyo tea bill kidogo tutamalizia, and through you sir tunaomba tukishamaliza kule bungeni.
And Nairobi leaders have strongly condemned the recent attack on Vihiga Senator Godfrey Otsoti, terming the incident a serious concern for the country's political climate. They are calling for immediate investigations and swift action against those responsible. Speaking in Nairobi, nominated Senator Karen Nyamu emphasized that the period of using violence to settle political differences is outdated. She urged leaders across the political divide to embrace respectful and civic engagement in their interactions. She also appealed to Kenyans to remain calm and avoid escalating tensions. At the same time, leaders were encouraged to refrain from inflammatory remarks and to uphold respect for national institutions.
Hiyo ni siasa kweli? Sasa si hiyo ni criminal. Hiyo imetoka kwa siasa, imeenda kwa criminal. Na lazima hao watu wakamatwe na wawekwe ndani na wa face the full force of the law. Ndio wengine ambao wako na mafikira kama hayo wakome kabisa. Hakuna mtu wako na monopoly ya violence. Hakuna mtu akona monopoly ya gunism. Sisi wote hiyo kitu tunaweza. Hakuna mtu hawezi. Ukiona hatufanyi, usifikirie sisi ni wanyonge. Hata sisi tunaweza fanya. Lakini siasa ifanywe vilivyo, bila vita na kwa heshima. Tushindane kwa kimawazo. Hiyo mambo ya kutusi rais hii Nairobi. Ati unaandika kwa kitabu yako hapo Facebook, unaita rais wetu majina. Tunakupatia onyo. Siku ingine utusi rais. Wewe mama, unajijua. Nataka kuona siku ingine umetusi rais. Utajua rais akona jeshi hii Nairobi. Ufanye siasa yako ya opposition, uende huko kule unaenda, lakini
And leaders from Laikipia County have called on residents to support the Kenya Kwanza administration, emphasizing that cooperation with the government is essential for assessing development opportunities. Speaking in Kiriko village, the members of parliament highlighted the importance of working together across political differences to ensure progress in the region. They warned that resistance to government programs could delay or hinder much needed projects aimed at improving livelihoods. The leaders underscored the need for political tolerance, noting that unity among residents could create a more favorable environment for development initiatives to succeed. They also pointed to ongoing challenges in the county, particularly human-wildlife conflicts, saying that a united approach between the community and the government will help in finding lasting solutions.
Na kama venye kwa sisi ya uongozi na asanteni sana. Nabugu alitumia vilivyo. Kwa hiyo
Kenya mzima siasa imeanza kuchacha. Ukisikia viongozi vile wanaongea ni kama hawakuwa naishi hii Kenya. Ukiwasikia siku ya leo ni kama wameshuka kutoka biguni kuteremka chini. Wengine wanakuja na chuki na fitina, makasiriko, desperation ndio inawaongoza badala ya kuongozwa na roho zao na Wakenya wenzao.
Tulishikana na viongozi ambao wako hapa mbele yetu. Mheshimiwa Jeni Kagiri, Mheshimiwa Mwangi Kionjole, tukamwendea rais wetu. Tukamwambia hii mambo ya unjangiri imetusumbua Laikipia West mpaka miaka nenda miaka rudi. Tunataka imalizike. Rais wetu aliita Inspector General ambaye alikuweko, akawaambia waende watutrainie watu wanaitwa NPR wakunje hapa watuchunge.
Juu kama viongozi wenyu sisi wanne tuliketi tukajadiliana na tukaulizana maswali. Tukaona tusipofanya kazi pamoja watu wetu watapata shida. Tulifanya vizuri kuungana ama tulikosea? Na wale ambao wanawapatia hiyo story yote ya one term, niwaambie ama nisiwaambie? Mimi ile nataka kuomba kama mama county wenu, tuache kudanganywa. Ile shida Msamburu akonaye Laikipia ndio hiyo shida Mkikuyu akonaye. Ile shida Mturkana akonaye Laikipia ndio hiyo shida Masai akonaye. Sasa kama nyinyi watu wa Laikipia mwezi ongea lugha moja, ati kwa sababu watu wa Nyere mnaongojea mtu akuja.
Now, terrorism and violent extremism continue to threaten stability in parts of Africa. Security experts exposed that groups linked to global terror networks are expanding their activities across different regions. These groups are changing their tactics and using modern technology to increase their influence and reach more communities. The situation has raised concerns among government and security agencies. Analysts say that no single approach can solve the problem as the threat continues to evolve and spread across borders. During a discussion at Mashariki Cooperation Conference, participants stressed the importance of a multi-sector approach. They highlighted the need for stronger intelligence sharing, better governance, and improved development programs and increased regional cooperation.
AI to create new content like text, images, audio, videos, or music. Generative AI has surged in recent years, benefiting from increasing availability of large data sets and developments in algorithms for large language models.
This narrative has a price in the bond market, a price in the our relationship with investors. And in a crisis like this, it's very, very important that we ourselves have a proper narrative of our problems, what are our responsibilities, what is responsibility of others, but to try to have a narrative which is correct.
This polarization not only escalates conflict, but also it undermines preventive diplomacy as well as mediation. It is polarization that blocks political transition. And polarization also leads to dysfunctional relation between state and society. Polarization is actually what kills.
And Nairobi is taking a bold step towards cleaner and more efficient transport, and electric mobility gains momentum across the city. Autoparks has introduced the Sheshe battery system, marking a significant milestone in the shift to sustainable transportation solutions. Developed in a partnership with Kofa Tel-G, the Sheshe system is designed to support electric motorcycles by providing a fast and convenient battery swapping options. Riders can replace depleted batteries within minutes, eliminating long charging times and keeping them on the road. The initiative includes a growing network of battery swapping stations already operating in different parts of Nairobi. The infrastructure aims to improve efficiency, reduce downtime for riders, and make electric motorcycles a more practical option for daily use.
Global crisis on importation of fuel indicates to us that we really need to think harder as a nation. We need to work on our policies to be more self-reliant, and natural capital is available that can move this nation to greatness.
Why e-mobility? It's a very pivotal time for our country. With all the wars that are happening around the world, we need to create independency for our nation. Electric mobility allows us to have that independence, because in Kenya we are currently producing renewable energy.
Nimekuwa ile time tulikuwa tunatumia bike ya mafuta, unapata kwa siku unatumia mafuta mingi sana as opposed to this one. Hii uzuri ya hii bike pia iko na battery mbili na au have kumaliza moto kabisa kama other bikes.
Now, Azerbaijan is finalizing preparations to host the World Urban Forum in May 2026, a major global gathering focused on the future of sustainable cities. The event is expected to bring together world leaders, urban planners, policymakers, and civic society actors from across the globe, building on momentum from ongoing international conversations around sustainable urban development. The forum will serve as a platform to exchange ideas and solutions for rapidly growing cities. Organizers are placing strong emphasis on inclusivity, reliance, and innovation in urban planning. Kenya's model of inclusive urban development is emerging as a key reference point, with stakeholders highlighting its success in integrating community voices into city planning. Lessons drawn from initiatives such as Africa Urban Forum in Nairobi are expected to play a crucial role in shaping discussions.
Following the liberation of its territories in 2020, under the strategic vision of leadership of His Excellency Ilham Aliyev, President of the Republic of Azerbaijan, our country launched the large-scale Great Return program in its Karabakh and East Zangezur regions. This is a comprehensive effort not just to rebuild cities and villages, but to bring the life back to what was a barren desert only 5 years ago.
Actually, we're going to be hosting the World Urban Forum next month. That's actually why we came to the Africa Urban Forum this month, to promote our event, and our goal here is to achieve a really good platform for African NGOs at the World Urban Forum as well, so they can talk about sustainable housing, the role of NGOs in sustainable housing and adequate housing for all. And I think that Africa, as a really fast developing continent, should really have a say at these platforms, and I think our NGOs are really good and optimal position for that. I think, first of all, we call on all of our African members and other NGOs to come to Baku for the World Urban Forum, because it's not just a forum for the African continent, but for the whole world. So this is where declarations are made, decisions are made on sustainable housing, urban development, and as one of the fastest growing continents and countries being Kenya, I think Africa should play a really significant.
And finally, it's a wrap for EBN Weekend Edition. Many thanks for watching. I'm Leticia Afandi and have a lovely night.